Speaking of no plans, we move to Kaiju number 8, episode 8.
What are you trying to say?
Do you want to do non-spoilies or?
Yeah, no, I mean, what are you trying to say about the
Oh,
Kaiju
no
has no
plan?
plans?
Oh, yeah.
That's just fucking.
They just randomly two guys are able to take down a 6.4 whatever kaiju when they said earlier you would need X amount of people to do it, but these two were just fucking doing it live.
Well, they did take down several of them.
Yeah, the rest of the defense force didn't do shit. So basically everyone's just sitting there and it's just Iharu and Reno just doing backflips.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least they cheered at the end.
Yeah. They
were like, "Yeah!" with their guns in the air, like fucking
Tusken Raiders.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for. I was gonna say the Jawas, but they also did that too. But Tusken Raiders.
I mean, technically they all did. The Ewoks did it too.
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi. So
yeah. Oh, love it. Such a huge fan.
All right, here we go. Episode 8. Iharu brings Reno back to his senses, but the captain is like, Reno's body is still fucked up, and Iharu wouldn't be able to expose the core with his measly 24% power unlocked. But Iharu engages anyway, and the captain is like, I knew it. That isn't 24% unlocked. And then has the scientists track his combat power, and they're like, oh shit, it's 41%. But then Iharu tripped on a rock, and they're like, oh wait, it's at 10% now. And the captain's like, 10%. And the scientists are like, 10% is what Iharu saved by using promo code TABC10 at checkout at it-aesthetics.com to get his shirt that he is wearing right now to fight this kaiju. And if you want a shirt like Iharu or DJ Montague, you can go to it-aesthetics.com and use promo code TABC10 at checkout for 10% off and unlock your full combat power potential.
Greg, that was such an insanely good segue. I wasn't even ready. That was beautiful. Also, the other day I was wearing my Dan to Dan shirt with Okaru and Momo, and no, I was wearing my Seiko shirt where Seiko's head, and I was wearing a sweatshirt or like a hoodie over it, and I had it zipped up so you can only see Seiko's head instead of her fucking half naked. But I walked into this bar, and one of the bartenders that I didn't think was a nerd looks over and he's like, "That's a dope shirt." And I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, "Oh, thanks. I appreciate it." And then later on, I went over and I was like, "Do you watch Dan to Dan?" And he's like, "Oh, fuck yeah." And I was like, "Oh shit, I didn't know you had ball like that. I didn't know you had game." And he's like, "Dude, I love anime." And I was like, "Oh shit, I do an anime podcast." And he's like, "That's fucking legit." So hopefully he listens in and he can hear the reference.
Yeah, and he can get 10% off of his work.
Yeah, he could. And I showed him a bunch of the shirts and he was like, "Dude, those are fucking amazing." And I was like, "I know, they're really fucking cool." So in real life, show people.
You don't even have to show people. They will come find you.
It's true. Nerds will always come. Did you know, speaking of nerds, they did a study on least attractive hobbies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Number 1 is figurine collecting. Check for me. Number 2 is video games. Check for me. Number 3, I think it's like fucking anime. So I am the least attractive man on the planet. And number 4 is probably being really fat. So I'm like hitting 100% batting average right now.
Yeah. Okay. So it's playing video games was number 1, collecting figurines number 2, magic tricks number 3, online trolling number 4, gambling number 5, number 6, building model trains. Also, fucking number 7, taxidermy. Number 8, comic book collecting. Number 9, bird watching.
Number 1, all that shit is actually cool. Like, you can make anything unattractive if you want it to be. But, like, the building model train shit, like taxidermy, that's an actual fucking skill. And then, like, the comic book collecting, and, like, why is it bad and why is it unattractive to be interested in something enough to collect it?
So this is the most attractive hobbies to women. Number 1, at 98.2% of people in this survey, reading, which great. I'm all for it. Number 2, foreign languages.
You have to define like, can you read? Or is
Yeah,
it like,
right.
like how much reading do you have to do to be put into that 92%? It's like, I read every day of my fucking life. I read the fucking street signs as I blast past them at like 150 miles an hour. What do you want from me?
Number 3 is playing an instrument. Number 4 is cooking. Number 5 is woodworking. Number 6 is painting. Number 7 is writing. Number 8, gardening. Number 9, swimming. Number 10, photography. 11, astronomy. 12, hiking. 13, archery. 14, blacksmithing. Traveling is 15.
How could you say taxidermy is unattractive, but then you list like 5 other craft skills? Like, like what the hell, dude?
Yeah. It's definitely interviewing old people. So we're getting there, guys. Greg, continue on with the show.
Back to where I segued. Yeah, Iharu tripped on a rock, and they're like, oh, wait, it's not at 10%. It's actually at 22 now. So about where he started. The kaiju tail whips, and Iharu dodges. And now the scientists are like, wait, it's at 42%. And the captain is like, why is this dude so unstable? And Toko says his power only goes up when he's dialed in. And the captain is like, oh, he might be just like me. And his numbers are just as good as Reno's when he's zoned in. But if they could teach him how to use his powers, he'd be sick. Iharu has some more self-loathing thoughts about how every path he takes is a wall and a dead end. But if he keeps punching, he'll get through, and he channels his inner door opener robot from Apocalypse Hotel, where every wall is just a door waiting to be opened.
Yeah.
Iharu does some flips and shit and exposes the core, and then Reno snipes it.
That shit fucking slapped, by the way.
No,
I was so juiced about that. Dude, I like flashing lights and colors and stuff, and it's awesome. I thought it was great.
It was fine.
It was entertaining. I got the jingled keys in front of my face, and the sound effects were fucking dope. It was pretty cool. Also, he exposed the core on the top, and then Reno shot the thing from the side.
Nothing matters. I mean, the one dude, he shouldn't have been able to expose the cores. I don't. Okay.
Well, Reno's at about 50% right now, right? And he's pretty dialed in. So Iharu being able to do it at 42% makes sense, because Reno did weaken the thing a little bit with the ice on its back, and all the kaiju is Stegosaurus at this point, because
that's exactly what it is. The captain looks on in amazement and has a flashback of his own, and Shinomiya's mom is talking to him in a library, and she tells him her cells match with kaiju weapon number 4, and she's doing her test tomorrow, and she's like, you think I got what it takes? He narrates that if he could go back in time and in the moment, if he could have told her no, he would have. But in the flashback, he says she can do it, and thinks that if he would have told her no, she would still be alive right now. Reno and Iharu beat the kaiju and have some dumb shonen running backflip high five thing. And the rest of the division rejoices, and the captain is like, man, I'm jealous. It's so nice to be young. And then radios in Reno and says he passed.
That was great. I had a great time.
They had a great time too.
I see that, and you could see it on the screen. Look at this high five. Yep. He's running by him, and he's so excited. He fucking pretty much misses. But they don't miss because their power's at 42%, and they have a great moment together. Okay?
Okay.
They did it.
Yeah. Toko was like, you sure? Don't you want to tell him his sense of responsibility is just going to get him killed? And he's like, nah, Iharu already taught him that for me and doesn't need some old dude giving him lectures. And then I have a note here that says this show has now just devolved into some weird coming of age story, and the last generation is just going to die off and they suck, and then because they're old and fucking useless. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's fucking, I mean, it's the
correct
same.
Or
yeah, no, 100% correct. But it's also, this is a worse explained version of Dan to Dan, like where you're breaking tradition and the new generation being better, faster, smarter, and able to adapt. So I don't hate it. I do love these stories whenever they're told.
I don't mind the idea, but the problem is I feel like they're riding this horse too hard. Like you can
Yeah.
still have that effect of the new generations coming in. They're doing things like in a new way that's different from how we did it, and they're making it work. And I'd be like, okay, that's fine. But they're literally like berating all of the old people and just be like, we all suck. Everyone get out of the way. Make way for all the fucking young new kids because we're old and useless and I'm dumb and he doesn't want to hear an old man talk. He just wants to do whatever he wants because he's a kid.
Okay. All right. I feel the vibe.
Anyway, that night, Mina asks Ogata, which is 4th Division captain, how Reno did. And he says he's the perfect candidate for the Kaiju number 6 weapon. And Mina is like, oh, okay. I don't want to see him die. And she wanted his opinion since he's the most cautious about using the numbered weapons. Ogata takes a picture out of his bookcase and thinks that it's weird coincidence that someone that could use the Kaiju number 6 weapon and someone that has the same ability as him appeared at the same time, and then tells Mina he will teach Reno and Iharu to be warriors that will shock even her. The picture was of him and other 4th Division members, one of which is Shinomiya's mom, and says, as the survivor, this is his destiny. So I assume everyone in the picture is dead except him.
Yeah. And I mean, again, these are soldiers and they're fighting a war against kaiju. And like, I get it. And I also appreciate that this guy still has some sentimental value. I know you're just like, yeah, they're all dead. And then he throws the picture and you're like in the fucking office, like lighting all of his mementos on fire and throwing stuff against the wall and going, you're fucking stupid, old man. And then walking out of the room.
He uses his squadron technique, number 6 on the least of most unattractive, and starts drinking.
Yes.
All right. Cuts to the Kanazawa Base 2nd Division, and everyone sees the news that Reno is now the user of the Kaiju number 6 weapon. And Kafka is like, man, that sucks. He'll have to fight Kaiju number 9. And he's like, it's too dangerous. But then Shinomiya sucker punches him right in the spine and is like, I told you not to underestimate us. Shinomiya is like, man, if Reno is getting stronger, then I have to get stronger than him. And everyone just has a dick measuring contest of how strong everyone can get, and Shinomiya has her fucking dick out. Kafka is doing more late night running and thinking about how cool Reno is, and he's making everyone realize it with his own power. And Kafka is like, what about me? Have I achieved anything with my own power? And Kafka thinks they don't need him. They just need Kaiju number 8. And then, yeah, here's my note that DJ Montague is going to love. This whole get stronger than someone else who got stronger, and Kafka's self-loathing is starting to get old, is what I wrote. Hoshina appears and is like, why you looking so gloomy, old man? You're fucking useless because you're so old. Make room for the new generation. You think you're going to take my spot with an attitude like that? And then Teleport attacks him with some rubber swords, and it's like, got my revenge for you not telling me who you really are.
I mean, he scared the shit out of him.
He tells Kafka he's grateful for him saving the 3rd Division, and not to Kaiju number 8, but to Kafka, who transformed in front of everyone, knowing what it would mean. He tells Kafka he heard what's happening to his body, and if he keeps transforming, he might not be able to go back to being human. Hoshina tells him he'll kill Kaiju number 9, and for Kafka to stop transforming, and to follow the path of Kafka, even if it takes longer. Kafka thinks Hoshina always acts harsh, but he's the nicest guy he knows. But Kafka says he wants everyone to acknowledge his power, but he knows he isn't strong enough alone, and he'll become Kaiju number 8 and fight. Hoshina thinks that he's dumb enough to transform in front of everyone, so he'll transform to save his friends if he has to. So that means we just need to make him stronger. And Hoshina tells Kafka to follow him, and he'll teach him how to fight. They drive to the Ryune Shrine, and it's dedicated to the victims of Kaiju and those who died fighting them. Hoshina asks him if he knows about the Meideki Dai Kaiju, and he's like, yeah, it was a massive disaster that destroyed most of eastern Japan in 1657, and it's in all the school textbooks. Hoshina says that the fighting methods were more primitive back then, which is basically just running at the kaiju with pointy sticks, And he says this is the fight where the most people have ever died fighting a kaiju took place. And when they die fighting, it will house their souls too.
So, real quick, I had a question about last episode whether or not a lot of these kaiju attacks were in reference to old disasters that happened in Japan. And they are. Earthquakes, fires, hurricanes, all of those things, these natural disasters are the reference that Kaiju number 8 is using. So the Edo era fire of 1657 is a thing, the Great Fire of Meireki. But like when they do this and they have these explanations of like, oh, this Kaiju attack back in this year, it was probably in reference to a great natural disaster in Japan. I actually think that's pretty fucking cool.
Hoshino is like, cool story, time to fight. No suits, no transforming, just two dudes, naked. Show me how much you've grown. And Kafka is like, fuck yeah. And then proceeds to get fucked. And Kafka thinks he can't do shit without transforming, and I suck. But Hoshina is like, you've gotten stronger, and I can tell you haven't skipped a leg day. But I gotta say, you still fucking suck. Hoshina punches Kafka, and Kafka is like, fuck, that almost killed me. Gotta tank this next shot and counter. But Hoshina stops and tells him he's become too reliant on Kaiju number 8's power. And if he continues to fight with no regard for himself, he's gonna die. Then he uses the combat technique Isao used, and he's like, Isao perfected this shit. Hoshina says Kafka basically sucks at everything except punching, so he's gotta learn to be stronger so they can reduce the time he'll be transformed. And Kaiju number 9 won't be the last Kaiju he'll face, and he's got a future of fighting ahead of him. So he should fight for that and survive so he can steal the vice captain spot from him and be with Mina. They leave, and Kafka is like, I was so worried about them needing Kaiju number 8 that I forgot to level myself up. But as Kafka goes to leave, he sees like a ghost samurai guy. And Hoshina is like, hey, what are you doing? And then they leave. And that's the end of the episode.
Not a lot happens, but also a good amount of things happen. I have a guess on how this show ends. Just if they were going to write it well enough, I think that at the very end, if they were going to go with my fantasy kitchen in my brain, Hoshino would become the captain of the 3rd Division, and Kafka would become the vice captain of the 3rd Division, and Mina will be probably dead. Just because it would wrap up their story in a way that doesn't feel good, but also pushes Kafka forward for his own ideals rather than just the ideal of being next to Mina. I don't know what happens, but that's my assumption. I do know that Kaiju has ended as a manga. I think they just wrapped up a couple weeks ago.
You want to know my fantasy kitchen of horrors?
Everybody dies, and then a new character's introduced that's older than Kafka somehow, and he's like in a wheelchair.
No, why would you think I want everyone to die? You know, I think what's going to happen.
Greg, you're a crotchety old bastard at this point.
You know what's going to happen is everyone's going to live happily ever after. Kafka and Mina are going to get married, and then they're going to have a kid, and then they're going to have a spin-off called like Baruto Kafka Kaiju number 69, and then their kid is going to be half Kaiju, half whatever, and then it's just going to turn into like Bleach and Tokyo Ghoul, where the old generation is stupid and old and fucking dumb, and you better make room for the new generation because old people suck.
I hope not. But also, that's very possible.